Hey there, it's Anna. So out in the garden, another rainy day. Of course it's a rainy day and I've got my hose right out there. I have still been watering a lot because we've still been having some pretty dry weather, and I do have a lot of things growing out here. And that's actually what I'm gonna be kind of doing today, is a bit of organization and a little bit of pest prevention. I'm starting a little trial on another kind of pest repellent measure that I wanted to get going today, and just having fun in the garden. I want to do this series of videos, these 7 days in the garden, kind of the holiday or 7 days of gardening. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it, holiday edition, but I've got all these videos happening right now, so I thought I'd just share them all. Anyways, today's topic is not quite as holiday focused, but part of the holidays I feel like is a little bit of cleaning, tidying, organization, and that's kind of what I'm going to do today. It's going to start with moving one of my containers. So I have this grow bag here, and I actually planted onions. You can see them coming up. I planted onion sets in here not that long ago. Gotta get that guy back in there. And I just came in the other day and smoothed this out, but squirrels had gotten into here and really dug through the grow bag. But this is where my new pest prevention methods are. I'm going to try something to keep them out of it, and I'm actually going to move the grow bag because I want the onions to be outside. I think that having them in the greenhouse may actually be too warm for them. I'm not quite sure that it's going to be the best growing situation, so I'm going to move them out of the greenhouse along with this garlic that I've got in here coming up. I don't want it in the greenhouse. And I'm going to move it over here. This collection of plants looks pretty terrible right now, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this back. This was milkweed, and this grow bag I think I'm going to pop into the greenhouse just for a spot for it. And then I'm going to put the onions here, and I'm going to try my pest control and see if that will keep the pests out of it. So let me move those real quick. It's raining, so I don't think I'm going to set up like a time lapse or anything, because I don't want my camera to get too wet. Okay, can't quite see me, but that's all right. Here's what we're trying for the squirrels now. Repels all. Oh, it looks like it was already open. So I have tried, let's see, I've tried a few different methods. I've tried putting down like garlic powder. I tried putting down Irish Spring soap, which that one works pretty well. The Irish Spring soap is not a bad one, but my squirrel pressure is so intense right now that isn't even been enough. And I started looking at cloches and all different kinds of things. I was looking at a bunch of Black Friday sales, trying to figure out if I should get, more netting, different things like that. But I just don't want to fill up my garden with stuff like that. So I'm going to try this repellent. Once I get it going, I should be able to put it on like every 2 weeks, and I'm thinking I'll just get in a schedule of doing that, and then that'll be, just something I do, and hopefully it'll keep the pests out of here. Now, it's not something that you want to put on things like, if I were going to be eating these onions, I wouldn't want to put this on right now, because it has like kind of spicy scents and stuff. That's what keeps it away from the squirrels, and keeps the squirrels away from the plants and everything. So yeah, you just don't want to do that. And if you get a super heavy rain, you might need to reapply it. But a lot of these plants I'm not eating right now. Like, I'm going to put it around the cabbages because I'm not going to eat those at this moment. I'm not going to put this on the lettuce, but I've got the lettuce underneath the row covers, and that's been working pretty well to keep it protected, so I'm not as worried about that. So that's just gonna kind of be the plan for this, and we'll just see how it does. I'm not quite sure. I resisted getting repellents for a while, but it came down to repellents or a ton of covers. And I don't know, if I can remember to get this out every 2 weeks and I don't have to deal with a bunch of nets and different things like that, then that might be good. So we'll give it a try. And I'm just gonna sprinkle, oops, I accidentally sprinkled a lot around that cabbage. Okay, well, I'm just gonna sprinkle, a little bit around different plants and try to kind of see what happens. Hopefully this works. Part of the reason that I'm working on pest measures right now is because I'm going to plant out a few of these seedlings. I started these inside. When did I start them? Gosh, about a month or so ago, and they're really ready to go out now. And so I thought I would pop a few of these starts into some of my containers to let them kind of grow on and fill in. And it'll be nice to have the repels all to keep any pests from digging up these big seedlings. That is the real danger with the squirrels, is that they just dig up, you know, all the new seedlings. So this is some dazzling blue kale that I'm adding to this container. Then I've got a Dusty Miller, a cabbage, and some little violas in here. I just am deadheading these. The Dusty Miller I love because it really shows up. I can look down on my garden from my upstairs windows, and the Dusty Miller really pops out. It's really beautiful. So I'm gonna put a little dazzling blue kale in there. And then I'm also going to add in a little bit of this lettuce. This is called a Lunix lettuce. And I'm gonna pop some of this in as well. I think it's a really pretty sort of deep color. Beautiful. So I got the other container set up with those greens as well, and I did put the squirrel repellent on both of them because that lettuce is more going to be decorative. Lettuce is actually a really pretty kind of filler for different containers. I like to use it sometimes for different containers, and so I thought that would just fill in that really pretty dark, like rich kind of reddish color, the beautiful dazzling blue kale. And then we have these cabbages. If you want to know what a cabbage looks like when it doesn't get enough sun, this is what a cabbage looks like when it doesn't get enough sun. They're a little wonky. I'm gonna go ahead and just say it's whimsical, right? Like that's what we're doing here. It's part of the whimsical plan. It's not, you know, it's not perfect, obviously, but it's kind of fun, and at least it's something green. This time of year, you know, just I'll take anything that's green. Hopefully the lettuce will really be able to take off now and grow. For me, lettuce is a bit more cold sensitive than the dazzling blue kale. I fully imagine that the dazzling blue kale will last well into, you know, to spring. Honestly, it'll probably just keep growing and growing until I pull it out. The dazzling blue kale, I mean, not the dazzling blue kale. The lettuce, on the other hand, if we get like some really, really cold nights, that might succumb to it. Usually for me, the lettuce does really well until we get like, I don't know, down into the maybe 10s Fahrenheit. I'm here in zone 7A. We usually get like 20s, maybe high teens Fahrenheit. We don't really get a lot of those like 5-degree Fahrenheit nights, but sometimes in the winter we'll get one. And if I have lettuce that's exposed, like the lettuce that's in those containers, I'm not going to have any covers over it throughout the winter, that might go ahead and die when that happens. But I'm not really too worried about that. And for now, it'll be really pretty and hopefully kind of keep growing. I did notice that my seedlings that I started out in unheated greenhouse, kind of as like a little bit of experiment. If you've been following along, you know them. They're right in there. they're not really growing super quickly. They're a little bit stunted, and I think that's just because the sunlight is not what it usually would be like in the summer or something like that. We're getting close to the shortest day of the year. So I'm actually going to pull those and bring them inside and pop them under the grow lights, let them kind of grow on, and then we'll see when they're big enough to come out. We'll see where we are temperature wise, if we can harden them off and plant them into the ground or put them back out in an unheated greenhouse until spring or something. We'll see what happens. But that was definitely a little bit of an experiment that's not really working. I am putting together a list of like all my lessons that I learned this garden year, and a lot of those have to do with like the right time to plant things, and I'm going to plan on doing a video coming up here and sharing those, because if you're in my zone, I learned a few things as far as timing. All right, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit more of this repellent in the certain places, like over my bulbs planted in these pots that are over here next to the container pond, and the squirrels have been digging them up. So I'm just gonna put like a little bit. I don't want to do this too heavy because I don't want to waste it. One of the reasons I've been hesitant to kind of use this product is that it's a little bit away with a light dose, and I'm just gonna sprinkle, I think, a little bit over kind of the general area and see if that helps to keep them out, and then we'll keep working on repelling these squirrels. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out in the garden today. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.